Namaskar dear learners, welcome to NIUS Studio. Today we will be discussing the lesson 4 of your senior secondary home science course. The lesson name is Food, Nutrition and Health. So this is the topic that we will be discussing and learning today. So the term food itself brings many countless images to our mind, right? When we think of what we want to eat, how we want to eat, with whom you want to go out and to different places and consume your food. So food plays a very important role in our lives. The food which we eat is composed of small units that provide our body nutrition, and the amount of nutrition that our body requires, or the different body parts requires to perform different functions, is it varies in different amounts. So this means that good nutrition is essential for health, but how much nutrition is required for your body, that we will be learning today. So if our diet provides us the correct amount of nutrient, then only our body will be able to perform all the body functions correctly. But in either case, if the amount is less, or if the body gets an excess amount of nutrients or nutrition, then it creates an imbalance of nutrients in our body, and in this condition is responsible for various deficiency diseases. This might lead to either slow or no growth in our body. So in this lesson you will learn about why food is essential for us, what are its function, what are the different components of food, and then we'll also understand the term and the difference between nutrition and nutrients. After learning these terms, we will understand what are the different sources and function of these nutrients and the amount required for you and me to have a healthy body. So let's first begin with what is food. I'm sure every one of you have eaten your lunch or your breakfast at whatever time you're watching this live. So the food that we consume, it is nothing but it could be like solid or semi-solid or in liquid state, and these food refer to anything that we eat which nourishes our body. So whichever food item you are consuming, if it nourishes your body, we will call it as food. And there are two important features of any element if you want to call it as food. First, it should be worthy of eating, that means it should be edible, and the second, it should nourish our body. So food, as we have already understood, that it is very important and it is the very basic necessity of our daily lives. It is essential because it contains substances which perform important functions of our body. What are these functions? So we can classify these functions of food in three categories. First is your social function, second is your psychological function, and the third is your physiological function. The physiological function will involve providing energy, food providing or helping us in building in bodybuilding, food regulating our body's process and providing protection against diseases. Now one by one we will look into these functions and understand how food plays a social function, then physiological, and then psychological. So how food plays a social function? I'm sure you all have been to places in certain gatherings, on certain occasions, you have met people, and these social gatherings and places where we are sharing our food with one another people, it implies that social acceptance is there among those people. So food is an integral part of every festival that is being celebrated around the world. You must have noticed as well that certain occasions like birth of a child or a marriage or a birthday is being celebrated by a feast or by serving delicacies of that region. So food has a significant meaning in our social context, as well as it also has a religious context. Now let's look at how food plays a psychological function. So as we can understand by the word itself, psychological, so it must be related with emotions, our memories, our feelings, right? So when we all feel emotional, we all have our emotional needs, and these emotional needs are fulfilled, or how we felt these needs, with the feeling of security, love and affection. And food is one way through which these needs are being satisfied. For example, when your mother prepares your favorite dish, how do you feel? I'm sure you feel that she loves you and she takes care of you, right? So this is how food is being playing a role of a psychological function. Often we have seen that if you do something good, I'll provide you a chocolate, or I'll give you some goods, or something good in return, right? So as a reward function. So food also serves as a reward. So and some foods we also can associate with sickness or with bad experience. For example, there might have been a case that you have fallen sick. On those occasions, you might be served khichdi or blanded food. So the feeling of sickness is you can say linked with an unpleasant experience of having that food. So those food items, whenever you consume those food items, that unpleasant feelings keeps coming back, right? So we can see that food itself can be treated as a reward, or can also be associated with a unpleasant feeling. So that's how we can see a psychological function. Now let's look at the physiological function. So physiological, as you can see, with the physique itself. So when we think of or when we discuss when we are saying the physiological function, it mainly divides our function in three categories. Food provides us energy. Food provides us energy to bodybuilding process. Food also helps in regulating the body process and providing protection against diseases. So first, how does the food provides us energy? We all need energy to do our daily activities, like from walking, studying, eating, or working in house, or you're working at your offices. So in all these places, how are you able to manage your work? How are you able to focus on your activities that you are doing? It is because of the energy that you are having in your body. And from where does this energy comes? This energy comes from the food that you eat. So when you eat the food, that food gets digested and it generates energy in our body, and that energy goes to different parts of our body and they perform their function well. That's how you are able to do your job correctly. So our different organs that are there in our body, even when you are in a resting state or whenever you are in a sleeping position, then also our body is performing all the functions. For example, our heart is still pumping the blood, the stomach is digesting the food, lungs are breathing the air. So all functions or all the organs in our body, they require certain amount of energy, and this energy is given to you in the form of food. So how does the food play the second function? That is the food helps us in the bodybuilding process. So when our body consumes the food, right, so it gives the energy to our different organs, to our different cells. So in our body there are multiple cells, and every now and then these new cells are being formed. The old and damaged cells are removed from our body, some are repaired. So this entire work which is done within our body, which we do not see and which we do not usually feel, is actually taken care by the food that you eat. So a good amount of food, or a good healthy eating, healthy food that you consume, your body will be functioning in a much better manner. So how does food regulate the process of protection against our diseases? So you can see that जनरली हमारी जो बॉडी का टेम्परेचर होता है, इट इज मेंटेन्ड बिटवीन 98.6 Fahrenheit to 370 degrees Celsius. Our heart also maintains a heartbeat of 72 beats per minute. Our body excretes out the excretion, the waste products regularly. Whenever you feel, whenever you are in cold areas or in a colder region, your body generates heat, or whenever you are in a hot region, your body sweats out, and it gives you a calm feeling, right? So how does the body maintain its process, or how does your body functions, these different kinds of activities, it is all done through the food that you consume. So we all eat food, the food provides us nourishment to the body, it also enables us to stay fit and healthy. सो यहाँ से हम समझ पा रहे हैं कि जो भी आप खाना खा रहे हैं वो आपकी बॉडी को उसी तरीके से लगेगा. अगर आप अच्छा खाना खाएंगे तो आपकी बॉडी बेहतर तरीके से डाइजेस्ट कर पाएगी, उसे अच्छे से एब्जॉर्ब करेगी न्यूट्रिएंट्स को और डिफरेंट बॉडी पार्ट्स तक पहुंचाएगी. इन केस यू आर ईटिंग अनहेल्दी फूड्स और जंक फूड, इन दैट केस आपकी बॉडी को वो जो न्यूट्रिएंट्स चाहिए वो मिल ही नहीं पाएंगे. सो हम बात कर रहे हैं न्यूट्रिएंट्स की. क्या होते हैं ये न्यूट्रिएंट्स? सो व्हाट इज न्यूट्रिशन? नाउ लेट्स डिस्कस दैट. So nutrition जो है, it is a process by which food is taken in and is being utilized by our body. So when you eat, the food gets digested, it gets absorbed, then the absorbed nutrition gets transported to different body organs, and those body organs utilize that energy. So the entire process is called as nutrition. तो यहाँ से हम समझे न्यूट्रिशन क्या है. नाउ व्हाट इज न्यूट्रिएंट? सो न्यूट्रिएंट्स आर द केमिकल सब्सटेंसेस दैट आर प्रेजेंट इन आवर फूड विच आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर नरिशिंग आवर बॉडी. सो अभी हमने पढ़ा कि जो भी हम फूड आइटम्स हम कंज्यूम करते हैं उनके अंदर छोटे छोटे केमिकल सब्सटेंसेस होते हैं जो रिस्पॉन्सिबल होते हैं हमारी बॉडी को नरिश करने के लिए. These nutrients are of two types. There are macronutrients and there are micronutrients. Both macro and micronutrients are very essential for your health and they both play significant role in your body. So अगर हम इनको एक एक करके समझें, सो मैक्रो इटसेल्फ, नाम से ही समझ आ रहा है कि मैक्रो मीन्स बिग एंड माइक्रो मीन्स स्मॉल. So macronutrients are present in large quantity in our foods and they are also required in our body in large quantity. For example, micronutrients are carbohydrates, proteins and fats. What are carbohydrates? So carbohydrates are present in your starches, in legumes, cereals, pulses, potato. And simple carbohydrates are like sugar, jaggery, fruits, honey, milk. There are carbohydrates, unavailable carbohydrate like dietary fiber. They are also present in the form of cellulose and hemicellulose, which are not digested in our body, but they are also very important because they add bulk to our stool and this helps in the process of defecation. These carbohydrates, from these carbohydrates our body derives energy. Our body also derives energy from fats and proteins, and this energy which is being driven from carbohydrates, fats and proteins can be measured in the form of kilocalories. So carbohydrates are known as the cheapest source of energy because they supply large amount of energy or a similar कह लीजिए हमें एनर्जी देते हैं एज लाइक प्रोटीन्स. सो अगर आपकी बॉडी के अंदर कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स की मात्रा कम होगी देन योर बॉडी विल ऑब्वियसली नीडिंग एनर्जी. तो वो कहाँ से एनर्जी लेगी? वो फिर प्रोटीन से एनर्जी लेने लगेगी. और प्रोटीन का फंक्शन हमने पहले भी पढ़ा है कि प्रोटीन क्या करता है, वो बॉडी बिल्डिंग में हमारी हेल्प करता है. तो अगर आपकी बॉडी कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स की बजाय प्रोटीन से एनर्जी लेगी तो जो प्रोटीन का वर्क है बॉडी बिल्डिंग का वो कौन करेगा? राइट. तो ताकि प्रोटीन स्पेयर हो जाए, वो अपना काम करे बॉडी बिल्डिंग का, इसीलिए आपकी बॉडी के अंदर एक्यूरेट और अप्रोप्रिएट अमाउंट ऑफ कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स होने चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं कर सकते कि हम कंप्लीटली कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स अपनी डाइट से रिमूव कर दें. क्यों? क्योंकि कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स के फंक्शंस एक बार अगर हम समराइज करें तो कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स प्रोवाइड्स अस एनर्जी, दे आर द मेन सोर्स ऑफ एनर्जी, दे आल्सो स्पेयर द प्रोटीन फॉर बॉडी बिल्डिंग फंक्शन एंड द डाइटरी फाइबर increases the bulk in our stool and it helps in the defecation process. So these are the functions of carbohydrates. Now 1 gram of carbohydrate will give you 4 kilocalories. As I earlier mentioned, kilocalorie is the measure of energy in food. So what are the different sources from where you can get the carbohydrates and this energy? So there are cereals like wheat, rice, bajra, maize. There are pulses like rajma, chana and all kinds of dals. Even roots and tubes like potato, sweet potato, beetroot. These are also good sources of carbohydrates, and simple carbs like sugar and jaggery are already there and we have discussed them. Now let's look at the second macronutrient, that is your protein. So proteins are needed for the function of bodybuilding. 1 gram of protein will give you 4 kilocalories and these proteins are made up of small units of amino acids. So in total there are 22 amino acids. 8 are out of which 8 are not developed in our body, which are also known as essential amino acids, and the other 14 are being manufactured within our body, so they are called as non-essential amino acids. So if we quickly look at how or what are the different sources of protein, there are meat, poultry, fish, egg. You can consume milk, cheese, paneer, curd. Soya bean is also a good source of protein. Peas, pulses, many cereals, nuts, oil seeds like till and groundnut, they also have good amount of protein in them. So what is the function of protein? Protein is needed for growth, maintenance and repair of our tissues. It is also necessary for the production of enzymes, hormones, antibodies, hemoglobin and all. It also helps during the clotting of blood. So whenever you get मतलब जैसे आपको चोट लग जाती है तो आपको वहाँ पर blood आप देखेंगे clot हो जाता है. So how does it happen? It happens because of protein. So protein is needed and protein provides us energy if and when necessary. Now there are certain animal proteins. These proteins which we consume from animal like meat, egg and milk, these are the animal proteins, and similarly there are some vegetable source of protein as well. Some vegetable source of proteins do not have all the essential amino acids. That's why it's also said that plant proteins are better than vegetable proteins. Why? Because in animal proteins you will find all the essential amino acids that are required in your body. But even if you consume the vegetable sources in rotation, in regulation, you will be able to have the required amount of energy that is or the required amount of protein that is needed for your body. You can consume through that as well. So if our body does not get enough carbohydrates or fats to meet its energy needs, it will take the help of protein. So the protein that you consume, it will be broken down and it will provide the calories to the body to supply, but it won't be able to do its own function of bodybuilding and repairing, etc. So in that case, how should we go ahead about this? We should never just fix or freeze that, okay, I will only eat only carbs dishes or only protein dishes. You should always have a mix and a balanced approach. In that manner, your body will be able to get all the essential nutrients, and it will perform its function in a better manner. Now let's look at the third macronutrient, that is fat and oil. Fats and oils are considered as the concentrated source of energy in our diet. Why? Because 1 gram of fat will give you 9 kilocalories, and these small units of fat, these are the fatty acids, and these fatty acids are generally dependent. You can classify these fatty acids into saturated fatty acid or unsaturated fatty acid. The saturated fatty acids are generally found in the solid states, whereas the oil contains more unsaturated fatty acid. That's why you will find vegetable oil which are there in the liquid form in our households. So how do you differentiate between fat and oil? So oil is a substance that remains liquid at the room temperature, whereas fats, they will become solidify in your room temperature. Okay, so now let's quickly look at the different sources of fats and oils. These are your cooking oils, ghee, butter, oil seeds, nut, meat, poultry, fish, egg, whole milk and cheese are also good sources of fat and oil. What are its function? So the function of fat is, since it is a concentrated source of energy, this will give your body large amount of energy, and it will reduce the use of protein for consumption of energy. These fats are also used for fat soluble vitamins. So there are different fat soluble vitamins, there are water soluble vitamin. So for fat soluble vitamin like A, D, E and K, fat consumption is very important. If your body does not have fat, how will your body absorb these vitamins, right? So these vitamins are important or these vitamins are being absorbed in the fat that you eat. Next is that it helps in the maintaining of body temperature. So as we know, हमारी बॉडी के अंदर जो फैट की लेयर होती है, इट हेल्प्स इन द मेंटेनेंस ऑफ बॉडी टेम्परेचर. इफ देर इज टू मच हीट, आवर बॉडी विल स्वेट. इफ देर इज टू मच कोल्ड, आवर बॉडी विल कंजर्व द बॉडी हीट so that your body temperature does not fall. The fat that you eat, the fat that gets deposits, it also act as a cushion for the vital organs, ताकि अगर कभी चोट लगे या कुछ इस तरीके की इंजरी हो, so your vital organs are not damaged, they do not suffer any injury. So to provide them a cushion, these fats are also being deposits. This also helps in the process of growth of our tissues. There are some special features or functions of fat and oil. So fat improves the texture as well as it absorbs the different flavors of your meal and it increases the appetite. तो आपने देखा होगा जो भी डीप फ्राइड चीज़ें होंगी वो बहुत टेस्टी लगती हैं और आपको बहुत प्रोलॉन्गली आपकी स्टमक को ऐसे लगता है कि बहुत सटाइटी है, मतलब फीलिंग ऑफ फुलनेस आपको लगती है उन्हें खा के. सो यहाँ तक हमने समझा कि मैक्रोन्यूट्रिएंट्स क्या होते हैं, विच आर रिक्वायर्ड इन लार्ज क्वांटिटी इन आवर बॉडी. सो दे वर कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स, प्रोटीन्स एंड फैट्स. नाउ लेट्स क्विकली लुक एट द माइक्रोन्यूट्रिएंट्स. सो माइक्रोन्यूट्रिएंट्स आर the nutrients that are needed in our body in small quantity. Although the quantity is small, but the function that they play is very essential and is very important. These micronutrients are your vitamins and your minerals. These micronutrients are not eaten in the if they are not eaten in the required form or in the required amount, it may lead to the deficiency of different diseases. We will quickly look at the different diseases as well, on which nutrient or on which vitamin, what kind of deficiency diseases it might cause. So the minerals and the vitamins are called as micronutrients. So if you look at the vitamins, so as I earlier mentioned, these vitamins can be fat soluble or they can be water soluble. So the fat soluble vitamins are A, D, E and K. Water soluble vitamins are your B complex and the vitamin C. Next are the minerals. Minerals we will be discussing about calcium, iron, iodine, and lastly we will also quickly talk about water. So vitamins, these are as mentioned they are required in our body in very less quantity, but they are responsible for major functions of our body. So if you look at different fat soluble vitamins, starting with vitamin A, if you look at the different sources of vitamin A, they are liver, eggs, fish, liver oil, milk, its products, green leafy vegetables, yellow and orange fruits and vegetables which are there. They are good source of vitamin A. Why it is important? It is important for the functioning of our eyes. In the dim light, if your vision is low, you need to get your vitamins checked. It might be because of vitamin A or deficiency of vitamin A. So it is important that you consume these the sources which I mentioned of vitamin A for a healthy skin, for a better lining of your nose, mouth, throat, ears, eyes, lungs and other organs. So these are the functions of vitamin A. What are the functions of vitamin D? So I'm sure you all must be knowing vitamin D कहाँ से मिलता है हमें. जो easiest source है that is sunlight. If you take or if your skin is exposed to sunlight in the early morning or in the late evening, your body will generate vitamin D. What are the other sources of vitamin D? It is egg, liver, fish oil, fish liver oil, milk, butter. There are different refineds and ghee which are now being fortified with vitamin D. Even if you consume them, your body will also get vitamin D. So what are the different functions of vitamin D? Its function is to maintain strong and healthy teeth and bone. It is also important because of vitamin D's presence, the absorption and utilization of calcium and phosphorus is better. So if you only consume calcium and you do not consume vitamin D, or if your body does not generate vitamin D, the calcium that you are consuming might not be utilized properly. So with calcium and phosphorus, your body also needs vitamin D. The next vitamin is your vitamin E. From where do you get vitamin E? From all the cereals, pulses and vegetable oils. They will provide you vitamin E. And what is its function? It prevents the destruction of certain substances in the presence of oxygen. It improves the vision, reproduction and the health of your blood, skin and your brain. Vitamin E is also known to have antioxidant properties. So you can consume cereals and pulses. They will provide you vitamin E. Now let's look at what does the role vitamin K do. So when your जब आपको चोट लगती है and you get clot of blood over that injury, it happens because of vitamin K in your body. So what are its sources? Its sources are green leafy vegetable and egg and liver. So these were the fat soluble vitamin A, D, E and K which we discussed. We discussed their sources, we also discussed the functions. Now let's look at the water soluble vitamins. The water soluble vitamin, we have B complex vitamin. This B complex you can get from liver, from poultry, from meat, from fish, from eggs, even the whole cereal grains which are there, the whole pulses which are there, green leafy vegetables, milk, they will all give you vitamin B complex. What are its function? Its function is it is necessary for the utilization of carbohydrates in your body. It is also necessary to perform normal function of your nervous system. It is essential for your proper growth and it also helps the body's organs to function properly. It also helps in the formation of red blood cells and the digestion and the appetite improves if you consume vitamin B complex. Vitamin B complex has 8 vitamins. It is B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B7, B9 and B12. So together we call them B complex. Okay, the last vitamin of water soluble vitamin is your vitamin C. So from C you can correlate with citrus. So C is present in citrus fruits like amla, orange, lemon and guava. Green leafy vegetable like cabbage and spinach also have vitamin C. Even if you sprout your pulses, they will also provide you good amount of vitamin C. Why it is important? It is important or it is necessary for the formation of the substances that hold cells together. It is important for strong teeth and strong bones. It helps in the production of hemoglobin. It also helps in the utilization of nutrients in your body. And lastly but not the least, it helps in fighting the germs that causes disease. तो यहाँ तक हमने समझा what are the different macronutrients, micronutrients. In the micronutrients, what are water soluble vitamins, what are fat soluble vitamins. Next, after a small break, we will discuss about minerals and water. So now we will shortly stop for a quick break, and once we are back, we will discuss the remaining lesson.
प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो,
संसाधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोट से युक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
मित्रों हम उठे और जागे,
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय का है द्वार खुला सबकी खातिर।
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर।
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर। दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बहुत,
कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने।
Welcome back, dear learners. We were discussing the lesson 4 of your senior secondary home science course, food, nutrition and health. For now, we have discussed what is food, what are its function, then we discussed what is the nutrition, what are nutrients. Among nutrients we have discussed about macronutrients, micronutrients. Now we will look at minerals. So minerals constitute a small amount, constitute a very small amount in our body tissue, but they are very essential for many vital processes, also for maintenance of our body as well. In total there are 19 minerals that are required by our body to perform various function in various amounts, but today in this session we will be discussing only about calcium, iron and iodine. So calcium and phosphorus are available in significant amount in your milk, curd, green leafy vegetable, ragi and in oil seeds. The major function of calcium, if we look at, are bone formation, blood clotting and muscle contraction. If in your body there is deficiency of calcium, this may lead to poor bone development, in particularly in children, women and elderly. We have seen the bones are not developed properly. This deficiency disease may also lead to osteoporosis, in which your bones become brittle and people become prone to frequent fractures in their body because of the brittle bones. When we look at iron, which is also required in our body in small amount, but it performs major functions, or it is present in our hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is in which the red part of our, is a red part of our red blood cells, which is responsible for this red color. So iron is present there, and we can consume iron if we consume whole grain cereals and pulses. These are good sources of iron in our diet. We can also consume green leafy vegetable, egg, yolk, liver and meat as well. In our country, if you look at, many women and especially children suffer from iodine deficiency disease, that is called as anemia. Young girls from the age of 12 to 18 years require more iron rich food in their diets because of loss of iron during their menstrual cycles. Similarly, extra iron is also needed for women in pregnancy, during their pregnancy, for the healthy development and growth of the fetus. So now we have understood that iron is important for our body, but sometimes what happens, even if you consume good amount of source of iron, but your body is not able to utilize it or absorb it properly. Why does it happen? It happens because of some inhibitors. These inhibitors are your oxalates and phylates, but there are some enhancers as well, which improves or which improves the absorption of iron in your body. These enhancers are your vitamin C and your protein. So if you consume good amount of vitamin C and protein, your iron will be absorbed better in your body. Now let's look at iodine. So iodine is a substance that is present in your thyroxine hormone, which is produced from the thyroid gland of our body. So thyroxine regulates various function of our body. We get iodine from food and from water. So from food, how do we get iodine? If your food is being grown in iodine rich soil, and if you once you consume that food, that's how your body gets iodine. And you can also get iodine from seafood because they are rich in iodine, and but if your body does not get the required amount of iodine due to this deficiency, this might lead to enlargement of your neck region, which is also known as goiter disease. So the deficiency of iodine can also lead to mental retardation in children. This has also been found in many studies that iodine deficiency and the academic performances of children are also related. So we have found that there are many regions in our India or different parts of India which are you can say which have prone to goiter kind of diseases. So in those areas specifically, you need to take care of yourself and consume the right amount of iodine. Now you will also find that in your salt packets government has mandated that salt should be iodized or it should be fortified with iodine. So in the market you will find some salt which are fortified iodine salts or fortified iodine and iron salts. So better to consume those salts in your daily diets, and in that manner itself you can consume or take the required amount of salt in your body. Now let's quickly look at water. We have already discussed nutrients, we have discussed nutrition, macronutrient, micronutrients, different elements, and now water. Water हमारी body का अगर हम कहें तो 2/3 part of our body weight is actually water. Major जो हमारे body के organs हैं उनके अंदर भी water है, and you can actually live without food for some time, but without water your body will not be able to sustain itself, because water is needed in digestion, in absorption, in transportation of these nutrients. Even if our body tissues, our body organs are also surrounded by water to gives us protection from any kind of a shock. Our excreta or our waste material from our body is also being taken out in the form of water through urine. And our body temperature, it is also being maintained by water. So water is very important. We all need to drink around 6 to 8 glass of water. You can consume it in the form of either milk, juice, kanji, etc. So water is actually vital for our survival. So till now we have all understood that all the nutrients are required for our body. All are very good to maintain a good health in our body. So how much should we eat? And how much nutrient requirement is there for my age or for your age? How do we identify that? So these nutritional requirements are influenced by your age, by your height, by your sex, your male, female, by your climatic condition, where are you living, which region are you from, what are your health issues, or what kind of a health you have. Are you a sedentary lifestyle person, or you are an active worker who does a lot of manual work? So occupation also matters, and the physiological conditions as well. So based on the dietary recommendations of based on the dietary recommendations of India's ICMR. So ICMR is Indian Council of Medical Research. They have identified that for different age groups and for different body weight, there are different requirement of these vitamins and minerals. So if you can categorize yourself among these categories, you will find age group and the body weight on the other column. This is a reference body weight which they have identified, the ICMR. So you will find men who are greater than 18 years, their body weight approx 65, women, infants, children. So these are certain categories. Based on these categories, on your work style or on the type of work that you do sedentary work, moderate work, or heavy work. Based on that, your kilocalories are being designed. So let's say you are a sedentary man, so you require 2110 kilocalories, whereas if you do a heavy work, you will be requiring 3470 kilocalories. Similarly, you will find in women sedentary work, moderate, heavy, during pregnancy, during lactation in 0 to 6 months, and lactation in 7 to 12 months. So you see these additional calories. Why does it happen? Because you are taking care of your newborn, that's why. So this is how your energy requirements are being identified by the ICMR. If you look at for children, in the same manner you will find the energy requirements for children. Now let's quickly look at how different age categories require different calcium, iron, and iodine in their body. So you will see that pregnant women or a normal woman who is in a sedentary lifestyle will require 1000 mg per day calcium, whereas if you see the lactating woman, she will be requiring 1200 mg per day. So why does it happen? This happens because during the lactation, your body is the child is drinking milk, is lactating to you, so that's why you need more calcium in your body. So these are the recommendations by the ICMR, the Indian Council for Medical Research, that tells us the thing of food, the function of food, your social health. So once you consume good food, your body will get better nutrition, your body will absorb those nutrients, and the body will function in its better manner. So I hope with this lesson you were able to establish the link between how food plays a major role in our day-to-day life, what are the nutrients, macro, micro, what were their functions. We also discussed about carbohydrates, fats, proteins, water. We also discussed minerals. There were certain fat-soluble minerals, vitamins, and there were certain water-soluble vitamins. So with this we come to a closure of this chapter. I hope you will be consuming a balanced and a healthy diet, and if you have any queries, you may please write to us and we'll get back to answering those queries as soon as possible. For joining today's lesson, we thank you very much.